Breaking, and I mean the markets, everybody. We are in a sea of red as the crypto markets are just crashing right now. You can see Solana's down almost 5%. Just a sea of red and really not seeing anything green until we look at a stable coin on the hourly or maybe a little XRP pump here and there. But you can just see across the board, the markets are down. And we're going to talk about why things are down. I'm going to give you the target for Bitcoin on how low I think it's going to go this weekend because we are just in the midst of a crash right now. We've got all this bad data hitting us all at the same time, and the markets are reacting with the biggest red candles in existence. We're going to be looking at 3 quick reasons why we're seeing such a global meltdown in the markets, and then I'm going to give you the target. Weak U.S. hiring in July slamming the markets. The Dow plunged 900 points. Unemployment was climbing to 4.3%, so it was an unexpected setback because the hiring fell sharply, and the numbers were much lower than people were expecting. They added just 114,000 jobs, 35% fewer than expected, and unemployment now the highest since October 2021. Things are deteriorating quickly, according to Julia Pollack. She's chief economist at ZipRecruiter. And the 4.3% for unemployment is actually very dire, everybody. Historically, it is a tripwire that has signaled recessions, although some economists are saying the gauge may be not reliable post-pandemic. Now, some industries did okay. Restaurants, hotels, bars, aka service economy, not doing terrible. But even last month, they had to revise the May to June payrolls to the downside. They reduced it an additional 30,000 jobs. So they give us numbers, and then they always revise them. And then typically they revise them to the downside. Very rarely do you see them revise them to the upside. So we got terrible employment data. That's the first reason. Second reason, Bank of Japan lifting its rates for the first time. We're at a multi-decade high almost. Levels unseen in 15 years, as Japan takes some steps to phasing out a decade of huge stimulus, aka the money printer machine is no longer rolling in Japan, and so Japan had a massive movement to the downside. I pulled up the Nikkei index. That thing was down 5.8%. Just today, actually, 5.81%. And I zoomed out, folks, and it looked pretty scary. If we look at the 5-year mark, look how quickly that decline is. That's what we're seeing right now. The last time we saw a decline like that, well, it was February, March 2020. And we all know what happened then. So Japan is reason number 2. And then reason number 3, we got a lot of turmoil in the Middle East. Hamas political leader, Hezbollah commander killed hours apart. So the tensions are rising in the Middle East. And then oil falling as demand concerns counter the escalation here. So we're seeing a lot of wonky data with the oil. We're seeing a lot of, tensions flaring in the Middle East. And so now we got this third reason for the global markets to pull back. But I said I was going to give you a Bitcoin price prediction, and that's why we're here, folks, because if we go up to Bitcoin, right now, $62,842. Very sharp movement to the downside right there. You can just see that crash is coming out of nowhere, catching everybody by surprise. But when you zoom out, okay, Bitcoin starts to look a little bit better. You zoom in a little bit here, and we're going to pull up that old parallel channel that we've been talking about before. So go ahead and draw it from the top here. We're going to go ahead and clip the tops and then draw it down, and you'll see something pretty spectacular, folks. So, we've just been trading in this range since March. I think you could technically say we hit the top, the middle of March 14th. Come back down, didn't quite hit it, didn't quite hit the top, but then, boom, bounce off it with conviction, bounce off this with conviction, and then bouncing off again with conviction. So where is Bitcoin going to bounce next? Well, we're going to zoom in a little bit, folks, because it might be some bad news that I'm about to share with you, folks. The bounce may have already printed. So if we go to a smaller candle, we go to the 4-hour first, look how perfectly that 4-hour candle hit that middle point of the parallel channel. I've talked about this middle point before, and you see how important it was on July 1st. And now we're sitting at the beginning of August, and we're seeing something similar. Now, this isn't the first time the middle point here of the parallel channel has been a important point of control. You can see, we tried to, burst through, but it acted as strong support. We tried to, burst through again, but it acted as strong resistance. And you can see there's a lot of action, around here as well. And so I would not be surprised if this is the bottom. Now, we might trade along it a little bit. You can see how many 4-hour candles we're trading along it right there. If we click to the daily, you can see, hey, sometimes it likes to touch it for a couple days. That might be what we're seeing here. Now, if we move to the downside, if we cannot hold support here, the next level is going to be pretty scary, folks. But let's go ahead and show you, what kind of drawdown we might be experiencing here. So 62,000, right around $700. If we go to a smaller time frame, we can get a little bit closer to the point there in 62.8. We're looking at a quite the drawdown, folks. About another 12% to the downside, aka losing about $8,000 on Bitcoin's value. So that'd be, I expect, the next level of support. But don't be shaken out if we go there. These are 1 hour candles. You can see, very scary moment. Oh my God, we're closing hourly candles. You go the 4 hour. Okay, that's when close one. People got scared, then, didn't really close anymore below that. And then on the daily, we only wick into these areas. So just be careful trading. I don't hate any kind of buy orders or even some long orders, below this level. But this is the point to watch. This dotted line right here is going to be the important zone for Bitcoin. We're going to be keeping a close eye on that. But if we go to the upside, if we bounce with conviction, now we're looking at some juicy targets here. You're looking at a pretty good upside of about 10% there. So Bitcoin, it's going to be about a 10% move to either direction. If Deezy has to give his analysis on what direction he thinks is going to go, I think we're going to range on the bottom. I think we got one more scary wick below, but I tend to lean bullish, everybody. So I think we're about to be flirting with this $69,000 level soon. So that's what I got. That's why Bitcoin's crashing this weekend. Folks, do not be scared. You got a diamond hand this Bitcoin. And so I'll see you and your Satoshis at the top.